Welcome to Saathwic Infotech Devops Learning Series. Today's session we are going to see about Linux user default file permission and configuration. So if you are watched my yesterday's video day 4, at the end I have been asking you the question, right? So let me show you. So I asked you a question, okay, whenever a new user creates a file, why are we getting this file permission as RW, RW and R, which is nothing but read, write and read. Hope we discussed very clearly yesterday. But why do we get this permission by default? So that's the question I was asking you guys. So today I will be explaining you in detail like what is the reason for getting this permission as a default. Okay. So before that, you need to know one important concept in Linux called umask. Okay, basically umask decides what should be the default permission for the file or directory created by a particular user. Okay, let me repeat this sentence again. Okay, umask is the one which decides, okay, what is the default permission to be given or granted to a file or a directory. Okay, for example, let me try to create a directory, right? So clear maybe pwd. Okay, I am in my DevOps home. Yesterday I have created only one file called sample. So let me create a directory. The directory name will be like sample1. Oh no, see the difference, right? For a file, it is granting a different permission. For a directory, it's granting a different permission. So what is causing this difference? Okay, it's all about the umask configuration done for a user. Okay, before that, okay, if you want to learn more about umask, right, you need to know a little bit of like what are the default configurations in Linux. Okay, before that, let me open my notepad. Okay, so okay, as we are discussing about umask today, we need to know few things. By default, all files will be created in Linux with 666 permission. By this time you might be aware of what is 666, which is nothing but RW, RW, RW. So by default, this is a Linux file based permission setting. So if you create any file in Linux, by default, this should be the permission. This is a default system setting at the OS level. Okay. By default, all the directories will be created with permission of RWX, RWX, RWX. So this is the default permission for directory. The above one is the default permission for a file. Okay, you should be very clear with that so that you will understand the upcoming concepts. Okay. So what is the then you will have a question. So Kumar, you were speaking about umask and you were saying, okay, this is the default value. Then what is the need for umask, right? Okay, let me come there. So again, by default, you must also have a setting, okay, which is nothing but 0002. Okay, now Kumar, you explain me like, okay, 421 for read it is 4, for write it is 2, for execute it is 1. So what is this 002 for you must? That's a question, right? So you must work in a little bit of different way. When I set some you must, for example, Let's take our file system, right? So the umask for this, okay, let me put this here. See, when DevOps user created a file which is called sample, by default it gets created with this permission. Okay, ideally it might have created like this. Okay, Linux OS will create like this. Then it will try to check for the umask setting. If user has given any umask value or not. So if user has not set any umask value, there will be a default umask, okay, which says if you give here any number, that related permission will not go to that particular group. Okay, here forget about this first zero, okay, which is related to sticky bit and other things which we don't want to discuss and confuse more you guys. Okay, we will discuss it in advanced Linux session maybe after our DevOps. Okay, the first zero denotes your, sorry, the second zero denotes your user or owner. Okay, and the third zero denotes what kind of an umask which I set for groups, and the fourth one denotes what kind of a umask should I set for others. Okay, that's the implication this three has. Okay, that was it, all these three implies. So you guys know, right? I am masking something. It means that I am going to hide it, or I am not going to grant you to see that, something like that. Okay, so when I say umask, by default it is 0002, it means that we are saying don't give write access to others. Okay, that's where if you look at closely in this file, you don't have w for others. Okay, the same way if you look at directory also the same umask applies. So if you check the directory, by default the directory might be created like this. Okay, that is the thumb rule, because you see, right, by default directories will be created with this permission. So as we are saying, because by default again umask has this value in Linux especially. So when we say 0002, it masks the write permission for others. Okay, now let me give you the different umask value. Okay, okay, tell me what would be the permission when a file is created. Let us evaluate, right? So for any file to be created, let's assume this is like kind of umask file or sample umask. If I set umask as sorry, it's 0022. So if I set umask as like this, the first zero will go for a sticky bit and other things, forget about that. The second zero I am saying whatever the default permission for a file, keep that. For owner, so owner will have read write because that is a default for file, so it will keep that. For group I am saying mask the second one, which is nothing but write. So if I set umask as 022, it will mask this. Basically group will not have write permission. Then I am saying for others also you better mask this one. Okay, let's look at how it will come for a directory. So by default directory also will have this. As I have given 2 both will mask the write permission alone. Okay, this is how it goes. Okay, let me put one more example to you. If I set umask 0077, so what happens in this case? Can anyone guess? Anyone guess? So I am saying 7 is nothing but read, write, execute. Mask everything for others and mask everything for groups. Though when you with this umask value, if any user create this file, that will be created with this permission. Okay. The same applies to directory. So when you set umask, this get applies to directory also. Only user will have read, write, execute. Okay. Now Kumar, you are saying umask and other things. Where to go? Where do I go and set this umask, or where do I see this umask default setting? Okay, let me show that in the server. Let me clear the screen. Okay. So when I was saying about the basic command, there is a special file called .bashrc I mentioned. There are few hidden files in which we will be more closely working. So one of the file is this. So this is a file which is a hidden file, and this is a very very important configuration file for Linux to work. So I am opening this file. Okay, are we seeing any umask value here? No, because it applies the default umask which is nothing but 002. So now I am going to apply some umask value. Umask 0077, as we seen in the example, right? I am applying this umask value. So I saved it. So this bash rc file will get executed, or this file get only into action either you have to log out and log in again. Okay, there are multiple ways to source this out. I am going with one by one. Just bear with me. I am going to exit out. Okay, I came out of DevOps user. Now let me log in back as DevOps user. Okay, now let me put ls-ltr. So this is the files which we created. The file was created yesterday and the directory was created today. Let me create say some file called touch after umask. So now I have enabled a new mask. Now I am creating a file. So let's look at the file permission. Okay. Now go to our notepad. Not this one, sorry. So go to our notepad. If I set umask as 007, as I explained, it should have only read write. Do you guys have read write? Let me show you by creating a directory. Okay. You see that? Hope I made it clear with related to umask. Okay. Okay. There is an action item for you guys also, whoever like watching my video regularly. So I was explaining you about like .bash rc and other things, right? If you guys were aware about like what is this bash rc and everything, just write a detailed comment saying that what is the purpose of it, when it gets activated, what is the importance of it, everything. Let me explain you in detail tomorrow so that we will compare like what is your response. Okay. Until then, bye bye. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share with your friends too. Thank you.